We
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes. I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to the Curling Stadium live coverage here in Swift Current. We have the S3 Group Curling Stadium Series Women's Final this morning. And I guess I say good morning, but it could be any time of day, depending where you're watching. We've got quite the international field here, so if anyone watching from Switzerland, for the Schwaller team, we welcome you, and from Korea for the Kang team. My name's Sean Joyce. Jim Nix joining me for this broadcast. Already underway here, but they brought the play into the rings here in the opening end, so both teams looking content early to simply exchange hits. And Jim, we've seen this in a number of games, teams willing to blank that first end just to try to, get the ice under them a little bit, and then they start things off and more in the second end.
Yeah, consistently so. I think, Sean, particularly on the women's side, it's you may see it on both sides, but the men are sometimes a little quicker to go, but I thought these guys might go at it pretty early. They both covered the pin on their first draw to the button, so that was an indication they're at least have a pretty good feel to start with.
Both covered the pin and had to throw a second one, but it was the Schwaller team winning the draw to the button, so they've got last rock advantage, throwing the Yellowstones here in this opening end of play.
I haven't seen either one of these teams this weekend in the games that I've done, but just looking at their semifinals, both won convincingly in the semifinals, with Schwaller beating countrymate Hurleman, I believe it was 11-5, and Kang beat Stevenson, the Canadian team, at 7-1. So both teams had pretty solid efforts in the semis.
Yeah, I saw that. I was calling the Kang semifinal, and it was just an issue of a bad miss for Brooklyn Stevenson in the second end resulted in a steal of 3, and this Korean team played very solid after that. They didn't take a lot of risk. They made everything was very, very well organized after that. They put all the pressure on the Stevenson team. They knew they didn't have to do that much. They were up by 5.
Yeah,
it's just a very, very disciplined approach. Yeah. Well, they had a few times where they could have. Do we try the triple or the double or just a double or just a straight peel? And they would just always play the straight peel and wait, because you could be patient when you've got a lead like that. The other team's going to have to make a play at some point in time. And it's when you start getting tempted to play the shots that you don't necessarily need to, you might jam something, and they could not be tempted. They play a very disciplined style. They knew they could just wait for the opportunities to clean house, and a very workmanlike effort.
Yeah, Korea's kind of gone the same way in curling as they did many years ago now in golf, where kind of came a little bit out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they have 3 or 4 teams in the top 20 in the world, and it's not uncommon in the slams for both countries, actually, for Switzerland and Korea, to have upwards of 3 teams or more, sometimes even in the slams, and it's pretty amazing. Out of 16 teams, when you can have 6 or so teams from these combination of these two countries, that's pretty impressive.
A little bit of a backwards motion on the release on this one, but it is curling up.
Yeah, the ice has been very good here this weekend. It just doesn't have quite that hard finish that we've seen in a lot of events so far this year. But certainly can get it to move. You can work it over there if you can. You just got to be really particular with the weight and have that perfect sweeping weight, as they say, and be able to finish it. And then you can get things behind guards without too much trouble.
Looks like we might have had a little housekeeping to do there. Maybe a rock banged into the hacks, chipped a little bit of ice away. That happens from time to time. I haven't yet, but should in advance apologize for all the names I'm going to mispronounce in this game, but may as well. Well, we've got a moment here. This is the third. Minseo Kim, the lead on this team, Jisoo Kim. Second is Yunjong Shim and the skip in the house. Bobae Kang for the Swiss team. The third in the hacks is Selena Gaffner. The lead, Selena Rehiger, I believe is how it's pronounced. Fabian Reeder is the second. And the skip in the house is Xenia Schwaller.
Well, that'd be like a solid 8.5 out of 10 on that, I think, Sean. So
I have called both of these teams already this weekend, so I've had to look up pronunciations on a couple of them already. And of course, you just never know when you're looking them up if you're getting the right source either. So
yeah,
that Rehiger is the one that really worries me, but because there's a lot of letters in there that aren't getting pronounced if that's right. But
yeah. Yeah, right, though. I've looked up a few in the past, too, and sometimes you can go to 2 different pronunciation options, and they give you 2 different options. They're not the same at all. So,
well, I got lucky on that one, and I don't know whether she's connected to it or not, but there is a Swiss company by that name, and apparently, and they do mention that it's Swiss, but it's their North American branch that ran the video that said, apparently nobody knows how to pronounce our name, so they did it right on the air in this YouTube video because they were worried about that. So I'm thinking, well, it's a Swiss name. It's a Swiss company. I've got to go with their pronunciation.
Yeah.
I feel like they should know.
Yeah. Well, I would do that for sure.
The other thing I will say, and some of our frequent listeners will know that they'll have heard me say this on the air before. Jimmy, you've probably heard it as well. All of these curlers here will tell you they don't really care how you pronounce the name as long as you spell it right on the giant check at the end of the event.
Yeah. Well, everybody was curling 100% till that one.
Yeah, you're not going to dock her too much for that one, though. Anyway, in the first end, she does roll out. It allows Kang the chance to play a draw, but they're still going to have the opportunity for the blank.
Yeah.
Final stone for Kang here in the first end, looking just to put it somewhere in the top of the 8-foot, probably make the rollout as long as she possibly can.
Yeah, nice to have that free draw, too, just to get a feel.
Shows you how well I was paying attention yesterday when I called games for these teams before, but hadn't noticed that it's actually the second Fabian Reeder that holds the broom for Xenia Schwaller. I knew she was quite involved in the strategy discussions. I'd seen her come down a couple of times, but she's actually the one holding the broom in the house.
Okay.
Makes the hit, kills the stone, and just for good measure, takes that little hanger on out at the back. So nothing left in play. It's a blank end. Xenia Schwaller with last rock here in this championship final, and she'll have it once again in the second.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
Second end underway, and as we discussed, Jim, looks like they're willing to get after it here in the second end. Center guard thrown up to start the end. It is on that center line, so in the no-tick zone as well.
Yeah, again, falls pretty much in what we've seen so far, where even though everybody is very defensive in the first end, both teams, no matter hammer or no hammer, second end usually changes that up pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. I'd have to say, though, for the number of events that I've called this year, I've seen it more here this weekend in Swift Current than I have anywhere else this year.
Yeah.
Managed to get just the very inside edge of that rock under cover. Full 12 foot. Available to be removed, but this is a lot of ice. This outside in has been the straighter turn on the sheets that I've seen. It does move pretty good to the corners. Manages to make the hit. Does she get that last little bit of spin back into the rings? I think it did.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's just a little thing, but it does change things a little bit, or it could possibly change things a little bit as we go along.
It might, because you're going to ignore that if you're Schwaller. You're going to try to come around, and that little biter at the edge could be the stone that perhaps forces you at the end. Can't worry about it this early. You still got a chance to go get your two. She's got that one nicely buried top 4. So trying to come around, sit on top of it, maybe on the corner. Nice line so far. It's whether or not they can get it far enough. They have not left the brush on this all the way down. They'll pull it into the top 12, but well short of the freeze they were looking for.
Yeah, they might have been better off trying to just let that one die a little bit sooner and not curl quite so much, or take the curl away. They would have been better off they could have utilized it then. Now it's sort of stuck in behind, and at some point they might be able to do something with it on the intern side as far as usability.
Schwaller's going to make a play on that wide stone now. They were looking for some roll, but that'll roll a little too far through the rings and out the back, out of play.
Bit surprised with that shot. That's, a little riskier. Just draw over there if you want and be good. I know it's a yellow stone, but it didn't seem to be a problem at all to me.
I feel like that's a keep the blank alive type of shot.
Yeah.
And if it was a keep a blank alive type of shot, interesting thing about that, coming up in the slam in January when they test that blank end rule, of course, they blank the first. You wouldn't be able to blank the second.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you might not play that shot.
Oh, valid point. I think you definitely wouldn't play that shot. It's just not a rock that you need to do. Too much risk of rolling out on that. Not quite sure.
Boy, you have to have a real preference for the outturn if you're going to play the outturn at this.
Yeah, it's funny. We saw that last night with Kelly Knapp. You would know Kelly probably pretty well. And
yeah,
he definitely seemed to have a preference for the intern. It was times when it just didn't seem like the right turn at all. He played it. He made everything, but definitely seemed to have a preference that way.
Yeah, I can tell you for Kelly, the preference isn't as much for the turn as that he's got a lot of faith in brother Trent on the brush, and Trent's the inside brusher on his intern.
Yeah, I get you. Okay, pretty good shot for Team Schwaller there. That's got more of that than I thought you could get.
You almost have to try the run now, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna play the draw. This is aggressive call here. There's a lot of ways this can go bad for you now. On the brush right away, she might have been just a little bit tight. Should be able to hold it coming from the outside in, but this is really curling. This might be light as well.
Yeah, definitely light, I think.
Well, stop just in time where if she does want to play the red run onto that yellow, it's still available.
It's kind of a bit of a mess for both teams, really, to be honest. Schwaller probably would much rather not have, 5 rocks within 6 inches of the center line here with hammer.
When she's looking at making a play on one of them, the problem is when she does that, it'll open up a path to get down to the corner freeze again.
Yeah. Yeah, and this other side of that was a Kang without last rock likes to have some guards, but doesn't like to have the no ability to use them right now. So
and she can't get to the corner freeze on shot rock right now, which is kind of the textbook play, right? When you've got the other team buried around your center, you'd like to get the corner freeze. Well, she can't get there for me to turn right now. Looks like the Schwaller team electing to just simply draw around on this out turn side.
It's coming in pretty good, actually.
Yeah, she's got a nice line. Gets pretty close to even with the other yellow. That actually looked like it took a little spin at the end. Didn't really get that far undercover. There's about 3/4 open. If you could ever just blast it, hit a quarter of a rock, would it touch the other one? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They might have liked that 6 inches deeper. It kind of stopped very suddenly.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just got that little tiny bit of a lack of finish. That was pretty darn good, but it just doesn't have quite that hard snap at the end.
If it's a few inches deeper, there's no chance it's ever touching the other yellow rock anyway.
No.
It would be tough. Like, it's very thin. You don't have to kill the second one. As long as you pump it out into the open, you're pretty happy right now if you're Kang.
Working hard on this.
She's got to be thin on the first one. Just touches it, not enough to push it very far. Hair thinner, and they might have pushed that out into the open on the other side.
Yeah, like you say, just move it over 1.5 feet from where it is, and it's much less danger to you, and you have an option of coming around the guards. You have an option of a hit and roll. A couple of different choices there.
This is a very precise draw that they're playing. I'm a little surprised they're not looking at going around on the other side. It's the same amount covered, but on the higher guard, you've got more room to get some finish and try to get maybe half in behind. It's not that they don't curl here in Swift Current. They just don't move as hard at the end towards the middle, so you really have to come tight by the guards. This is tight. It may not get by. Now you got to get deep enough so you don't leave the double. And they will do that.
Yeah, that was close to definitely leaving that double thing. That would have been disastrous, really.
I'm not seeing the double. I am seeing the hit and roll behind cover, though.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's been this way all weekend here at Swift Current. You got to come tight by those guards coming around center. I will say that when you get a chance to go around the corner, which, if you've got last rock, you'd love to play over there. You've seen a number of teams ignore 2 rocks in the middle to draw around the corner guard because you do not have to be that tight by the guards coming to the corner. Much more movement late to the corners.
Yeah, I've seen that strategy as well. A number of times where, like you say, that somebody goes in the center and they throw up the corner, and then they go guard the other one and go around the corner. But the going around the corner has most of the time been successful in burying it behind the corner. This looks good if they get enough. Need to let that or make that move a little bit more. One of the two.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting to the inside of it this time. So the call is to try to roll to the outside. Again, you've got to be conscious of not leaving a double here. If you only roll 6 inches, there's a double between the yellows. If you roll out, you still probably are getting a chance to score 2. So do not under roll on this one. Schwaller with her first. She does have last rock here in the second end. Sitting one, trying to make the play on second shot. She'll make the hit. The shooter does roll all the way out the side, but that's a better miss that way than to stay too close and leave the double. Just because of the ice conditions. This is a very tough shot for Kang to get it anywhere where it's, she's got to get it buried as much as she can. It'll be hard to get it fully buried.
Yeah, Schwaller's played all of the draws that she was playing from the outturn, so the side has not been seen quite as much. Stagger looks like you could probably come around there pretty good. You go by each one of those rocks by a couple of inches sort of thing.
Yeah. I can't remember back to the pregame practice. Of course, that this would have been the direction they threw to draw to the button. Both of them covered it the first time.
Yeah.
I just don't remember who threw which turn.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember all of it.
They've been on the brush right from the get-go. This is really curling. She's by the front one. I don't know if she's by the yellow. Oh, she gets by. And by the rock at the top of the four. That is an outstanding shot.
That is a great shot. I agree. And kudos to the sweepers because they were on it from first second to the last 22 seconds or however long it takes for that rock to get down the sheet. Very, very well done.
Yeah, you can see it's over-buried on the long guard. So for Schwaller, and she's going to try to score 2 out of this. So she's got to have back 8 weight anyway, because you lose a little bit of weight in the transfer, and I don't think she's going to get to the nose. She might have to have close to back 12. And yet she's still got to get that kind of finish. Final stone, second end. Xenia Schwaller looking to come down and try to move the stone that was just put at the back of the button. This has got a lot of weight and a lot of line. That's just a ton of weight for that shot. Slides by everything. Outstanding draw with her final stone. Bobae Kang actually gets the steal here in the second end of play. She takes the 1-0 lead, first one on the board. Schwaller will once again have the hammer when we come back for the third.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You
make moments like these possible.
Third end starting out very similar to the way the second started out. We've got the center guard to start things off. The come around, but this one a little deep. Ends up in the back four. Selena Rehiger now being asked to come down, sit on top of that yellow. Pardon me, it's Shisu Kim. It was Rehiger that was deep. Looks like the brushers want to go for weight, but they've got to make it curl as well. Actually, weight looks like it's there.
I think it's there, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good shot. Could have used a little bit more curl, but they've got a corner inside the guard and half a rock in front of the yellow, probably.
Yeah, it turned out good. Those are the hard ones for the sweepers, where they know they need to go if they're going to try to make it curl. Just can't, because it's just a little bit too heavy for that.
Definitely got tighter line coming in. Needs to get just to the inside of that red to make sure she's shot rock. This is going to curl very hard and stops just full top four. The red continues to be shot rock. It's not a bad spot for the yellow, though.
Yeah, it's only a foot and a half, or maybe not even that, above the one on the button. And if you could ever get to the nose of the yellow, I know you can't right now, but if you could eventually, it would be pretty easy to remove the red without disturbing too many of your own.
Comes tight by the guard, gets to the face of the yellow, moves it up a little bit, but I think the red at the back of the button still shot rock. They're making a play on the guard. I think it's the straight peel.
Yeah, I think you're right. Angles are pretty good right now for red, but I'm sure that's with no guard. The angles are pretty good.
Well, yeah, they're okay. Like, I think if you're making contact, the top three rocks go. I don't know if it touches the rock at the back four.
Yeah, it's close, yeah.
Probably all depends on how you hit the first two.
Yeah.
There's a little space between that yellow and the red still, but I do think if the yellow comes straight back, I think the red clears the yellow at the back.
Yeah.
Well, that has over curled, so there's going to be a chance now for Schwaller to make some kind of play on the rocks and the rings. You don't necessarily have to do it with weight either.
No. I don't think you can get to the inside of that, so there's no point looking over there.
Well, and I don't think you want to. Like, I think you're hitting you hit the outside, not very hard. You can play that double tap. The red goes across the yellow, and you'll actually tap it into the back red. They are talking about trying to throw enough weight to move that red out into the open.
I don't know if you can do that.
Even that, you could do it with hack weight. You're trying to hit about a quarter. You're going to lose a shooter. You can't try to keep everything here.
I think if you could throw like a backline weight at that and get to half a stone, you'd get shot rock at least, and your angle on your shooter in the top red might stay decent for you.
Half a rock with backline. You're going to roll over. You're going to leave a double on the yellows. I'd be tempted to throw it with. I don't mind their idea to try to pop the red out into the open, but to do that, you're probably quarter rock with hack weight. That you just want to touch the yellow on the way by. If it even clears it, that's not the end of the world. But hack weight hitting a quarter, you're probably losing the shooter. If not, it's way back in the back 12, which is fine. It's out of the way. Yeah. They're definitely playing it with that weight or with that ice. We've got to think they're trying to throw a hackish anyway.
Yeah.
I like their idea to pump the red out past the guard. It's a very difficult shot to make.
Yeah, you got to hit it very thin to
make
it happen.
And with some weight.
Well, they're on target for it, I think.
Yeah, they don't need it to curl. Yeah, that over curled on them. I mean, it on one hand, it probably looks like a good shot because they tap theirs up, but if you look at the angle that they're left behind, the yellow red goes directly onto shot rock and stays buried. You don't even have to play it yet. Yeah, I like this. There's no reason to play that yellow-red onto the yellow just yet. You could play that anytime. It's always going to be a problem for Schwaller. There's not much she can do about it. This kind of goes back to what I said about the Kang team from yesterday in the semifinal against Stevenson. They are a very disciplined team. They see the ice very well. There's no point playing that shot yet. You can play that anytime. Schwaller has no way to get that redstone out until after you play that shot. They sure don't want to change the angle here, though.
No.
Oh, they lost that.
Yeah, but did it take a little jump, to be fair. It was
yeah.
It seemed to take a little bit of a jump there around the hog line or just past. But yeah, it radically changes that.
Well, and it's about to change it that much more because Schwaller's going to play off the red and move that yellow. I mean, it might touch the red as well, but you still got to change that angle a little bit.
Yeah, it's in a pretty good spot right now for Kang to be able to use it better, probably even than it was. So,
yeah, there's definitely no chance it's popping out into the open this time now with the angle the way it is, but it's a little tougher to get at as well. So Schwaller will look to come to the inside of that red, make the hit, remove the redstone, come across, and just move that yellow over. She can move it, well, that much past the nose on the other side. The angles actually start to favor Schwaller. The shooter's going to stay in a good position to make a play on the yellow on the red and clear everything. Still not likely throwing this real hard because it's apt to touch the red on the way by the yellow when you're going across the top, and you don't want to pump it all the way up to be shot rock. Oh boy, this has to get to the inside though. They're working to try to get some curl here. Not enough, I don't think.
No, you could throw what she's called here. You could hit this yellow one just off nose and get rid of both yellows and bump your red one in for a shot.
Yep.
With only 3 to come, it's time to play that too. So.
Well, makes the double on the yellows and moves the red back. Didn't move it back enough to be shot rock. So Schwaller continuing to sit one on the button. Going to have to peel the center guard now. She does have third and fourth at the back of the house. Jammed on the one red at the back four.
Yeah, the problem for Schwaller there is she only with 3 rocks to come, or so she had to kind of peel that guard. Takes 2 shots for it to even attempt to get rid of the red.
Yeah, and I don't think Kang can afford to make the first one for her. You're either throwing a straight guard or you're playing the double on the yellows at the back.
I'm leaning towards a straight guard. Sometimes it's a little bit risky, but that red one's locked in there pretty good. You can get a reasonable guard on this. Could be hard for her even to try to move the red. I don't think she could ever hit that red thin enough to get it out on either side, but you think, Sean? Doesn't look
well, she doesn't have to get it all the way out. She just has to get it out of the 8-foot. So, yeah, she probably could. I mean, she's losing the shooter.
Yeah.
And she'll lose the yellow behind it now. It depends. If her shooter came over and killed that yellow at the side of the 8-foot, it's still only for 1. I'm not sure she'd play it on the last one. I think she'd draw to what she can see of the button and try to get her 2.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, I find the rocks are just not quite as lively as some would be. It would be certainly difficult, but if she was able to have a shot at it on our first one, she'd probably give it a go. But depends if they can get this guard over enough. Well, the sweepers kind of went around the world in that rock as they were sweeping it, but they got it to basically the right spot. So
I think you have to peel the guard here. You play any kind of draw here first, you're not going to have a shot for 2.
No, and I don't know if you can throw enough weight to come around and, bump the yellow back to the back of the 4 and sit on the corner of the red, which you might try if you thought you can get it there. But then she throws any kind of guard at all, she's not getting it.
Then you're not shot rock, and it's a steal. So
yeah.
Yeah, the problem with this draw is you make it now, you can't see the edge of the button to make your draw for 2.
Yeah.
And if you draw to the edge of the button now, you're leaving a double and a very potential steal.
Yeah, you got to be really careful with this one for sure. And I don't know, corner freezing the red at the top is not going to really do anything for you either.
It's not going to help you, and it's going to block your draw path.
The only problem with the straight peel is that the red can probably the Kang can come down and probably make a double, raise double on the red, but she might set you up for a double for 2, so she probably wouldn't even play that. Could just tap it, I suppose. If you're Kang, you could come back and just tap it back to the 4-foot right on the nose and probably be pretty safe.
You could. There's some risk there.
No, for sure, yeah.
You offset it at all, you might leave a double.
Yeah.
Certainly can't afford to rub off anything. That would leave a double for sure. Yeah, I don't think that's a very good spot.
No.
Anywhere on the outside of that yellow, and they both go. Actually, might get the one at the back of the 4-foot too. You could almost make all four of them go.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful weight, but
yeah, it's just that's what she did on her last one. She
the
just
next one, yeah.
took her end away by playing it there. This is
Yeah, I don't know
anywhere
what
on the outside, the double goes for sure.
You don't really know what you're thinking there. I mean, you're thinking, I guess, that she might have a complete total miss on this shot, but sure, right. You're gonna could get anywhere from 2 to 4 of these. Very long end.
This is hard to miss, really.
She could possibly be a little concerned if she was to play this and not be right there, that there'd be some kind of a shot. You know, if you ever roll a little bit to the outside, there might be some kind of shot for Schwaller to come down, remove the red, but I don't really see that.
Yeah, the only way you're getting in trouble here is if you're too close to the nose, and with where the guard is, I'm not sure you can get that close to the nose.
Yeah.
You're looking for thin. I mean, they're lining up to go onto the other yellow stone, which, you know, makes some sense. You're thinner than half, probably close to a quarter, and potentially all four of them move.
Did I hit it?
Yes. Well, she made all four of the move, but she actually double hit the one as it was coming across, so it stays in the 4-foot and hers leaves to a quarter, and potentially all four of them move. One more look at this. They had it lined up just a hair thicker, and she would have rolled across dead into the one at the side. She comes off the back. She made all four of the move, but she actually double hit the one as it was coming across, so it stays the yellow foot, and hers clicks into the side of the red and pushes it out. If it doesn't make contact, they were all leaving the rings. So Schwaller has now just the exact same draw she just threw to pick up a single, but she's looking at a steal if she doesn't make it.
Yeah, there really isn't very much room. It's nice to say, well, you have the same shot twice, but you're drawn to not very much space, that's for sure.
She could have thrown her first one to the boards, and she'd be throwing this one for 2. And this looks a little strong. Is it going to hook in at the end?
A little early on the broom there.
Oh, big hook at the end, and she does get her single point. So we're all tied up after 3 ends of play. We'll have a chance to see what the Kang team could do with Last Rock for the first time when we come back for end number 4.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Sasktel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? Sasktel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Center guard once again thrown up to start this fourth end. This time by the Schwaller team, and Kang looking to go to the corner. Corner guard, I would assume, though I didn't see the call.
Yeah, it looks like that's where she's going.
First time we've seen this so far in this championship final, but as you and I were talking about, Jim, we've seen this play much of the weekend. It's because there's been better movement to the corner. You'll see a lot of teams with Last Rock have been willing to ignore those first two on the center and try to get something set up on the corner right away.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Schwaller makes a shot good, if whether or not Kang decides to go around the red. I think she probably will.
Comes to rest, just biting the top of the button. That might be too good to ignore.
Yeah.
So they're going to try to come down, sit on the corner of it, playing from the other side, though, because they'd like to cue everything up to go towards that corner guard later on if you can. Room by the guard, but it is curling. Oh, they might have left this a little short. Got good line on it. They'd like to have those two stones a little closer together. They just lost it a little bit.
Yeah, kind of almost dead buried, and I think it's not a bad thing to leave it about a third buried or so, or 2/3 buried, so you just have a little piece of yours to work with afterwards. That goes along with it going that extra foot and a half, whatever that is.
And here you can see how this call is influenced by that corner guard, though. They want to play the corner freeze on the red. Well, it's probably easier to corner freeze the other side. It's just you don't want to cue everything up to roll towards that corner guard.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Nice line if she doesn't bounce. Oh, that's an outstanding shot. Right on the face. It might be touching. And look at that angle. I mean, it'll clear the yellow for sure. Kang really has to look at trying to break that up somehow or another. Either you come around and try to tap the yellow hard not to leave it on the same line, or you try to come around on the intern side and move your red. They're even talking about peeling the guard because the angles are not good in the house for them. I think that's what they're going to settle on.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
So straight peel on the center guard here. You might quite likely see Schwaller put it back. This could be that game of cat and mouse that we talk about so often too. It might be a case of we'll just keep putting that guard back until till you make us do something different. Actually, I could see Schwaller guarding this right through to the last rock because the stagger on the front two really favors her.
Yeah, definitely true. I don't know why she would think about doing too much different right now.
Well, Kang at some point in time is going to have to make a different play. Like if she lets Schwaller throw a guard with her last one, she's not going to have a shot to score. So she's going to have to do something eventually. Might be now because she can see the red stone.
Just looking at a little tap. I don't think.
Yeah, I think so. You tap the red a little bit. You can, even if you were just to rub it over and line up the yellow red onto the yellow, and then get your shooter into a useful position as well.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to stay corner frozen. Like, there's too much chance you're going to leave it double on the reds if you do that. It's hard to tell if you were right to the corner as much as you could see of it. I need to see the overhead. There we go. Yeah, if you were everything you could see of it frozen to the corner, then it probably doesn't clear the yellow. But I mean, if there's an inch of air between the red you're about to throw and the yellow, then the two reds are probably lined up to go past the yellow with the forefoot. So I think you're better off to tap here, change that angle on the yellow red, and get your shooter into a position where you could use it. Really going to have to go for line. Not going to get by the front one now. Can they make it into the rings? That would change things a little bit. It does with a little spin at the end. I think it's biting. It's close for sure. Got to get that guard over a little farther this time. You need to take away the red one.
Yeah, I think she was just sort of indicating that to the
you could leave them a piece on the yellow. There's nothing they can do hitting the yellow except kill their own red. Line's going to be better on this one. Now the downside to that last shot is it's now a little tougher to peel the guard. Or a lot tougher to peel the guard.
Yeah. The overhead looks like it would be not too bad going through the Air Systems logo there, but...
Yeah, well, does it hit that red, though, that you left just biting?
Yeah, it could. Could if you're not... You hit it a little too thick, for sure. Sure, and what the run back looks like here, I don't think it really goes to the right place for you, but...
Well, it's the kind of shot you might not play with a ton of weight because it's more about, I think, if you're playing this, it's more about breaking the angle on the yellow red.
Yeah.
That's the problem for the Kang team, right? It's that yellow red. They're so well hooked. That was such a great freeze that she put on there. Their angle to go over top of the shot rock in the button area, you've got no shot to get at shot rock right now. Even these angle run-ins, like, I don't think you can get to shot rock. So you got to do something with that stagger at the top. If you could ever play that run back and actually dead stuff it on the yellow at the top 12, you're probably golden. That's a really tough shot.
Yeah, and it's, you can't get to the red corner red one that's biting the house either to use that in any way. So
not yet. If you played the angle on the longer one, it might be there on the next one. If Schwaller doesn't make a play on it.
Yeah. Schwaller's guards were good depth in the sense that, if she comes in a little bit too deep there, then Kang might play the run, yellow and yellow, and take a chance she might lose her own, but she could make that. But they've left those guards just long enough that it becomes a little bit more difficult.
The way it sits right now, there's an argument to be made for playing that anyway. Like the rock belonging to Kung at the top of the 8-foot is not helping her. If you can make the run and kill all three of them,
yeah,
that's it's a better house for you then than it is right now.
Yeah,
yellow guard back across the top of the yellow and kill the red for sure. You'll lose one yellow for sure, and the other one might go spinning. It's going to spin out of that center line area. I like that, Jim. Actually, that's probably your best bet.
Yeah,
they have called timeout. Coach is out.
Yeah, because now I don't think she can score.
Yeah, she's been looking at the port too. I wonder if she thinks she can hit enough of that Yellowstone through the port to do kind of the same thing. You're going to lose the red, but can you spin that yellow out of the way?
Yeah, that's the part that would worry me. It just, on the overhead, it looks like you might be able to.
You might be able to. You got to throw some weight.
Yeah.
Certainly you can do it with the run because you're coming at a different angle.
A lot of ice doesn't really look like it's a...
No, this looks like a quieter tap.
I don't think the yellow one's ever going to go far enough that you're going to be able to utilize the stone she's throwing now, though.
I could actually see this leaving it the other way. Like you come through the port, get close to the nose on the yellow, the red goes, but then the yellow just scoots over a little bit, stays behind your shooter, but now angled the other way. Now it may clear a path on the intern side to get towards shot rock, but right now that stone at the top of the button would be overburied by half a rock on the guard. Just gets by. Well, she loses the red that was second shot, but left the yellow in the hole where there's probably a double now. Now Schwaller could simply guard that and probably should.
Yeah, definitely a double there. Well, yeah. You got to get tight to the guard, but
yeah, you might be dead jamming it, but you'd take that right now too, especially if you're leaving another red in play. I don't think you can leave it. So they're going to try to plug the port. That's pretty good. Takes the port away and leaves her shooter in a spot where the double peel's a little risky. She might have to play it over the top, straight back. Yeah, I'm not loving this draw.
Well,
you make it. I'm still not seeing how you score.
Well, yeah, because if you make it, you're going to play the freeze. You're going to make it, and she's going to plug
She's
the
going to
hole.
guard. Yeah. I mean, she left the red in a pretty good spot, but it's still, you guard, and you're going to want to overlap the guard so she doesn't have anything to run in. But
Jeez, I don't know why you'd go in there.
yeah, it's a little risky to be in that tight. I mean, she's got to come in fairly tight with the guard anyway, because right now the angle run in is there for 2, so you want it right to there. That's what I like, is right where Fabian just tapped the ice.
Yeah, I like that much better. I think that's a bigger. I mean, it's a hard shot, but it's a bigger risk than if you go right in there and leave that shot. You didn't really do anything. You didn't guard anything.
Well, you could make the shot they called and still leave it.
Yeah.
If you angle it so that both yellows could go and the red stays. She's got the short angle red on the one in the 12-foot too, so she's got shots. I guess that's maybe part of the thinking when they're trying to come right in here. Nice line through the port. Now looking for some curl. It's got the line she was looking for, and actually just enough separation that it probably still makes that run pretty difficult. The short run's there the other way.
Yeah, I don't know if she thinks if she could ever get enough curl to tap that yellow on the nose, then touches the red. Will you ever move it far enough to be in a good position? I'm not sure.
The short run, it's very thin.
Could play that slash over on that side that they're.
Yeah. I get her wanting to save it for the last one too, but I'm not sure what else you got here.
Yeah.
Like, actually, if you make it here and dead stuff it, you probably have room for the wide out turn draw to just catch the edge of the 4-foot for possibly 3, depending what, of course, Schwaller does with her last one.
Yeah.
She can see the edge of the Yellowstone that was just thrown. Does she think she can get, are they close enough together to drag? Is that what she's looking at? Catch the yellow onto the red and it drags enough to get the shot stone?
Yeah. I think it will drag to touch the front, the shot stone. I just don't know if you'll get enough of it to be able to move it to be number 2 sort of thing.
Yeah. She can't throw it with big weight either, because you're definitely going to pop the red out in the open if you do that. So with that broom, I'm thinking this is hack weight. It's hard to know with that amount of space between them. Is it still going to drag? By the front one, looking for that last little bit of curl.
Well, she got shot.
Moved it far enough to sit shot, but she's left a double on the reds to sit 4.
Yeah, sit 4 and almost no way in.
And no way in. Well, she'll still have that run, I guess, that short angle run. The angle might be a little better for it now, but boy, you got to make it. Speaking of got to make it, though, Schwaller's got to make this double first.
Yeah.
Hard to tell if she dead stuffs it, who would be shot.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even look at that. I was thinking.
As long as she gets to the nose, no matter what weight she's throwing, she's going to at least be sitting one. Well, she's not wide. This is all over the guard.
Holy cow.
Coming off the red. It hits the red, doesn't come off of it. That was not very well thrown at all.
No, not a good throw at all, no. Be a little worried about being wide maybe, but it'll stay straight there. I mean, you don't have to be, with that much weight. As long as you're close to the broom there, you should be okay, but she obviously dumped that pretty bad.
Is there a double on the yellows for... It's probably only for 2 because your shooter probably comes across, touches the red, and it doesn't have very far to move. I don't think the tap is there. I don't think you get second shot.
Not really difficult. Have to go turn and over curl it a little bit.
Well, between the red and the yellow, like if you make the port, you've pretty much made the double on the yellows, right?
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about it is it's the only way you're going to give up one probably is with that. If you ever jiggle,
jiggle through and push it up for shot, you could. Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like she's playing the outturn tap on the red.
Yeah.
Jeez, I don't know if it'll.
She's got to get past the nose, I think, and try to.
Yeah. No, I think so.
Yeah. On the tap back, try to get it to the inside of the red on the button.
Just don't know if you'll get enough curl here or not.
Once it crosses the line, it should go. That'll be half the battle here is where does it make that break? If it goes too early, they might have a hard time holding it. You're right. If that doesn't go early enough, it won't curl enough.
Well, she's not heavy.
I don't know that it's got the weight. Just a little bit light. So it'll be a score of 1 for Kang. Dodges a bullet here. She was in trouble most of the end. Made a nice shot with her first one. Picks up the single point. She'll take a 2-1 lead after 4 ends of play. It'll be Schwaller with last rock once again in the 5th.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like 1 more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Sean Joyce, Jim Nix with you here live for this championship final 2-1 as we begin play here in the fifth end. The first stone thrown up was the center guard, and it's a little bit long, and I do think it's not touching the center line as well. So the corner guard thrown up now. They might have liked to get that a little bit wider. It'll be hard to come around it.
Yeah, well, for sure with that long guard there.
Kang looking for the come around now. And they'll bring that stone in maybe just a nibble of the forefoot. It's a good 3/4 behind cover. You saw the gesture there from Schwaller. They're playing to get to the face of that red, but because that stone, the guard, is not on the center line, it's not in the no tick zone. And I think what she was gesturing is it's fine if you touch that. Move it off the center line would actually be a good result.
Yeah, very nice throw.
Yeah, leaves it in the back 12, but that's not a bad spot for it for the Schwaller team. Yuzhong Shim being asked to make the hit on shot stone. They'd like to roll under the center if they could, but this is just going to get back to the nose. It would be tempting here, I think, Jim, to peel the center guard. She's not looking at it, but you can't use your corner the way it's set up right now. This rock's not hurting you. Gets a little bit of roll, but looks like it's still just fully open. Will be tougher now to get to the inside, get the roll behind cover. We're on the brush right away. This does have to get by the guard. It's really tight. I don't think it's getting by.
No. There's the problem for Schwaller solved.
Yeah, for sure. She can come around that corner now, and she's got protection from the back with that stone hanging on the back 12 as well. You could come right down to that if you wanted to. It might be the best place for it because you could see her indicating we got to be careful of the depth here. There it is. She's going to look at coming right down to the back one. You have to be real careful not to leave a double off the yellow that's wide open. If you're right where she's tapping the ice, that's going to leave a double. You come to the back one, let them hit the top one. You got room to come around again.
Yeah, I think you've got to go even with the other one or way back, as you said. It just makes...
To me, it makes more sense. You go way back, and then if they don't make the good roll, you've got a chance to maybe set up 3 here. Tougher to get the third one set up if you're high in the house here. You need to leave room for another one. And you definitely need to make a clear decision which one you're playing, because if you decide, well, it's either or, we'll decide after she throws it, that's when you usually end up leaving it right in line for the double. Back far enough that the double's very tough. Kang looking for the hit on the open stone, roll under cover herself. She'll still only be top 8 foot. Makes the hit. A little thin on the first one. It's going to roll too far, and that certainly leaves room for a draw again. And that red stone where it rolled actually will, again, help Schwaller. You could be half around the guard, top 8, and they can't do anything with it because they could jam it on that stone.
Yeah.
This is a good setup for the Schwaller team here in this 5th end. She's got nothing left on the center now, so she's always got a place to draw with her last one. 3 is definitely in play. Boy, that's in a pretty good spot, too. Not really much choice for Kang. Has to try to come down, sit on the corner. These are very tough.
Yeah, it's a really hard shot.
You get too close to the face, you won't be shot rock. If you hang it out a little bit too much, it can be removed. You're not playing with a very big piece of real estate here. They might have lost the line. Taps it a little bit. I think she got second shot out of it.
Yeah. I think that was probably, second shot was probably the best case scenario for her there. I'm not so sure she could have ever had shot in a good place. It would have stayed out maybe a little bit too far, but takes a little bit of the heat off anyways.
They're looking at running the guard pretty much straight back if they could stuff it on the one that was just thrown. You might touch the yellow behind it, but it's going on to the red. Could sit 3 with this. Doesn't look like a lot of ice, but you know, the way this ice is run all week, you don't have to throw big weight even with that broom. They were on the brush early. She's going to over curl just a little now. Will she get the other red? She does. Yeah, that's not a great result because it's now yellow onto red. The yellows go. Or, yeah. Pardon me, the shooter. Red onto yellows.
Yeah, red could sit 3 after the shot and possibly roll one over behind the other guard. So
back one, the back yellow, is going to drag somewhat.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that it's clearing the back stone. But I don't think it ever drags enough to dead stuff. We'll find out in a few seconds, but... Wants to hit just a shade on the high side to keep her shooter. Well, that does dead stuff, and the shooter goes.
Yeah, she just definitely. I still think it was probably going to pick that one at the back for sure, but I think she had to hit a little bit more of that top one.
Yeah, it stuffed pretty solid. I didn't think it would drag as far as it did. I didn't think there's any way it was getting by it, but that dead stuffed on the back one. So still a chance for Schwaller to get her 2 here. Needs the hit, clear the back one, roll behind cover. As long as you clear the back one and get any piece behind the guard, Kang probably has to hit the back one and concede 2. I don't think she ever risks giving up 3 here.
I agree. You can't give up 3 here. You got to make sure. Down 1, playing 6 wouldn't be so bad.
This does not look like a lot of ice on the out turn because this is the inside out has curled all weekend. I think they were trying to go over the top, and I don't know if they're going to get there. Just.
Yeah, it turns out it's a great shot. I mean,
yeah, I don't know that was plan A or not. They were trying to go over the top, trying to roll that. I don't know if they're going to get there. The other turn.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, it feels like it was more of a roll inside than outside, or as the call went. But now can Kang possibly make the double here? Maybe. But it would be, you might have to take too much of a risk on getting by the guard.
Well, again, you do know this turn, if you're playing the out turn at it, you know that it will curl. So you don't have to play as tight by the guard. You're counting on the finish.
Yeah.
And if she just hits it on the nose, that's not the end of the world. If you hit a little broom side roll in front of the back one, that still makes it tricky. If they're playing for the big roll behind the center guard, they have to make that decision right up front because it's a different weight if you're trying to roll 4 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, that made a jump. And they're not going to get by.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. That certainly didn't look like that should happen.
No, they were set to sweep for curl.
Yeah.
Interesting. Schwaller's going to draw to the corner here. That split might be there.
Yeah, it may be for sure. It's also that length of a split that it's a little easier to end up getting nothing on it.
It is. You don't have to throw through weight, though. That's if you only get one of them into the rings, you still got 3.
Yeah. I
think you're throwing the intern at it from the center line side to get as much action on your shooter as you can. She was set to draw to the corner, which was an unusual way to draw for your 3 anyway. A lot of skips would just play the draw towards the button anyway.
Yeah.
I think they're definitely going to play the split. I think all the conversation now is about how much weight do we need to throw, and because they have to cross the center line, it's a little bit of a guess as to where it's going to go. This is not a path that they would get to throw a lot in the course of a game here this weekend. That looks like a lot of ice to me.
Yeah, if you're throwing enough weight to...
You got to be close to half a rock, right, with back 8-foot weight.
Yeah.
And with this in turn, you'll get a little bit more action on the shooter. Half, maybe just a little less than half. She's got good rotation. That'll help her get that spin into the rings. I don't think she got all the way out to the broom. This is close. It's real close. Might over curl, actually. They'll get the push for sure. Will they get enough spin? She does. That's a fantastic shot. Put 4 points on the board here. Xenia Schwaller was in danger if the double is made on the last one. She could have all the way out to the broom. But with an outstanding split on her final, which this is close.
Absolutely.
Credit to Fabian Reeder, because I think she was the one that saw it. Xenia was already down at the other end. Get the push for sure. Will they get enough spin? She does. That's a fantastic shot. Put 4 points on the board here. Spin into the rings, and that's 4 points for Schwaller. She now has a 5-2 lead after 5 ends of play. Kang will have last rock in the 6th.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sasktel.com/sponsorships.
Outstanding final shot by Xenia Schwaller to put 4 on the board. Producer was on the air with me just between in the commercial break, offering us another chance to take a look at it. But we've still got 3 more ends to go, and I'm curious to see how Kang approaches this end. She's down 3. She's got last rock. You knew the first rock was going into the rings. That's the one you see in the top of the 8-foot. The corner guard was going up, and I'm just wondering, we'll find out in a few seconds here, are we at the point where Kang throws the second corner guard? Looking to come right into the center again. With a 3-point lead, not really any need for Schwaller to have guards at this point in time. Had to figure that Kang was going to make a play to the corner. She's going to come around. I really thought she might throw the second corner.
Yeah, I would have thought that too. You're down enough that the second corner is probably a good idea.
Well, and it could influence things even that, the setup in the house, those rocks are staggered. Like Schwaller can't guard them both. If she guards shot rock, she's leaving you the double. You don't need 3 here. You only need 2. But, with 2 guards, there's always the threat of perhaps scoring 3. It's hard to get 3 with just the 1 guard, especially when the other team's going to play some defense here. Didn't manage to get that completely buried either. There is some risk. This is still just the 5th stone of the end. If you crash the guard and push it to the divider, it goes back. This is a free guard zone shot. You can see, what would you say, Jim? A third of that rock in the rings? And there is some finish here.
Yeah.
Well, she might have only been able to see a third, but she hit close to 3/4, passes it through, and good movement to the corners. They certainly haven't had any trouble getting rocks to go to the corners.
No, it was just a really nice throw.
Kang looking now at trying the freeze on shot rock, I believe. Trying to use those yellow stones that are fairly congested at the top of the 8-foot. Boy, this is really curling on them. That, I have to admit, that does not look like natural curl. That almost looked like it must have grabbed something.
Yeah, been probably 2 or 3 of those in this game that just kind of that took off and
ended up in not a bad spot.
Yeah. It's like a pick, but not a pick that's a complete disaster. Usually it's kind of just shoves the line off a little bit.
Peel of the corner guard. It's going to be a little thin. She wouldn't have minded catching one of those other stones, but it clears everything and no guards in play. And the key to that, I think, is what I just said. There's no guards in play. I'm not sure you're coming in here. No. It's just, you're going to give her just way too many chances to clean house. That's not in a good spot. I think if you hit it hard, you get rid of both reds and you lose the yellow shot stone, and now there's no good freezes left either.
No, she'll end up having to use the yellows as guards.
There's a chance if you hit it just wrong, it'll be thin on the second red and come into that yellow at the side of the 8-foot. But, even that, if you're Schwaller right now, you're fine with that. You don't mind losing yellow rocks as long as you lose at least one red here and take away some of these angles. You got more yellows in there than you need now. Nose would be close, it looks like.
Yeah, nose would be...
Throw it hard enough.
Yeah. Slightly high sides, not too bad, but just has to be slightly.
Yeah. even if you over curl it, jam the red, take the two out at the back,
Yeah.
the red and the yellow.
Some weight on it.
She's got the big weight. Rotation should hold the line. We'll get that little over curl I was just talking about, but that's not a bad result either. It takes care of the backing, and that red stone at the top of the 8 foot now, it's easy enough to remove. I still think you have to guard the red. You make this draw. She's trying the double.
Yeah. So I would not consider this call. I wouldn't.
No, you guard the red. It's a tougher peel because there's 3 rocks back there she could jam onto.
It's a long way out too.
Yeah, it is. Oh, just going to rub on the way by. Now, still, that might not be the end of the world because by rubbing, yes, she's out in the open, but there's no double.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I thought this might be a better result. She almost made that. I didn't.
Yeah.
Nice weight and very close to going by. But like you said, the double might have been there if you had gone by. And
the question now is, which one do you hit and do you want to stay? Fabienne Reeder has made her way down, and they're going to call timeout. Reeder throws the second stones, but she is the vice. It is Selena Gaffner's turn to throw here. I think they seem to be in agreement on hitting the shot stone. Well, maybe not. They're still looking at the other one too. There's a tap back available on it. You hit the shot stone, then the question is, do you want to roll? Do you want to roll out? Nose hit's not bad. You certainly don't want to overlap anything. I think if you're hitting it, you're either nosing it or rolling out. They've talked about rolling in too. The problem then, though, is that you could overlap the 2 yellows, and the tap back on the red could end up underneath those 2. The overlap could hurt you. You're not really thinking about trying to steal here. So another rock in the 4 foot doesn't help you.
yeah.
Nose hit's not bad. Nothing would be overlapped. Rollout's fine. You roll to there. She's going to try to tap the red straight back to frozen. That's not good. It does look like they're leaning towards trying to roll in, and you gain nothing by rolling in here. I don't mind the nose hit. It takes away that same attempt to draw.
Yeah.
You want to leave. You definitely don't want to overlap any of your yellows. They're all in pretty good spots right now. If you ever had to, if she got a rock to the forefoot, you've got short runs. Yeah, I mean, if Kang doesn't make her shot, you're fine with that, but you've given her a shot. If she makes the tap up, I don't know why she's looking at hitting a yellow. All I'm seeing is the tap to a freeze, and you make it. It's hard not to give up two. Well, if she's looking at playing this as a hit off the yellow and the 8-foot, I have to think the mindset that Kang has here is, let's make sure we have a shot to score. Because the straight back tap is still a shot to score too. This is just a shot to make sure you have a chance to score.
I think I like the tap. Either way,
I love the tap. I mean, even if you don't dead freeze it, if you're back in the direction of the button somewhere, I mean, your shooter stays in a spot where it's still a problem for Schwaller. Yeah. Like, this is kind of all or nothing. Now, you should have a chance to score for sure with this, because it's going to move one of those yellows. She's probably going to have to make a play on the red that you're moving back. Can't be throwing this with a ton of weight. That was not wide. This gets a few of the moving and ends up in behind cover. She is shot rock. That worked out pretty well for them.
Sean, I'm going to have to leave you, sir. I've got to be on the ice in 5 minutes. So,
all right. Well, hopefully you learned something here today, and you can put it to work in your own game.
Yeah. Well, let's hope. Okay. Talk to you later. Thanks.
We are on to skip stones here. 6th end. Schwaller just looking to make the hit on the red, try to roll across. Definitely wants to make sure she doesn't end up staggered on her own. She wants to have some kind of shot at that red at the back of the forefoot with her last one. Actually, if you could be thin on the red, you might be able to get it here. Thin on the red, touch the yellow. Moves back, touches the red enough that she's sitting shot rock for now. That's a pretty good result. Definitely wants to make sure she doesn't end up staggered on her own. She wants to have some kind of shot at that red at the back of the forefoot. Not sure entirely that this was what they were playing, but actually, if you could be thin on the red, you might be able to get it here. Sure she had thin on the red, touch the yellow, the top of the yellow on the way by. Back, touches the red enough that she's sitting shot rock for now. That's a pretty good result. Shot rock herself. Tough spot for Kang. She's looking at the freeze on the yellow. You can't really hit the yellow. It'd be hard to do that without leaving a double back. You make the freeze, you know that Schwaller's just going to hit the open stone and give you a chance for your 2, but you have to really lock this freeze on. over curl it at all, she might try the double. First stone for Bobae Kang here in the 6th end, trailing by 3. A chance with a nice freeze here. She could set up her deuce. Wants to get really close to the nose here. She's got some curling to do. And does not want to move the yellow very far. I think that's pretty good right there. All that's left her is the hit on the back one. Talked about trying to hit and stay right there. I don't think you want to hit and stay right there. You may as well roll away. Force her to draw cold. If you sit right there, she's just going to come down and sit on top of you. Roll about a rock's width to the broom side. It's pretty good, I think. She'll hit it right on the nose, stays there. Kung sits 1, has the chance to draw here for her 2, pick up 2 points, get back in this game after 6. It'll be down to a 1-point game. Has to make this. Outstanding shot by Minseo Kim on her final one to set this opportunity up for the Korean foursome. Managed to establish this deuce without any guards. They don't have line to the yellow now. The question is, if they touch the red, will it stay in for shot? Red onto yellow, and it looks like it's still got plenty of the forefoot. Put 2 points on the board for Kang. It's a 5-4 game after 6 ends of play. Schwaller will have the hammer in this championship final when we come back for the 7th.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Underway with you here live in the seventh end. Sean Joyce on the call. Jim Nix has had to step away, so it'll be just me as we carry through to the end of this championship final. We see these scenarios so much, a 1-point difference here as they play in the seventh. The mindsets of the two teams just a little bit different. For Kang, she needs to see somebody score here. If she steals one, she's tied up coming home. She'll need to steal another one. Even if she forces a single, that gives her last rock coming home in a 2-point game. A blank for Kang, not great, and giving up more than one, probably absolutely worse. And of course, Schwaller's on the other side of that. She'd love to get a blank here. The long guard thrown up just over the hog line, does not get back to the center. Schwaller asking Reheger to come around again, sit on top of her own stone, top of the forefoot. Now decision time for Kang. Do you come around and try to get around everything, or do you sit on top? She's going to play to sit on top. You know the peels are going to start on the center guards on the next stone. So you've got to make a good one here. This rock has got to be a threat. Nice line coming in, and they will get it fairly tight to those yellows. Everything's overlapped. That long guard just over the hog line and slightly off center. I have to imagine they're just going to peel the tight one here. Unless you're trying to take the double peel, which they have not talked about at all, this is the only other shot to look at. It's taking. There's a lot of discussion here. Once they decide, doesn't take long though, makes the peel, rolls the shooter out as well. For now, I think Kang likely has to just look at replacing the guard. She does have everything overlapped on a stagger in the house. At some point in the end, she'll try to come around that. And I don't know if she can wait right till her last one, because it's hard to get buried on a rock in the top 12 foot on this ice. She might have to play one earlier, try to get half around, and then look for a mistake. You're not going to do that this early. I would think the earliest she tries to make the come around would be probably third's last stone. And maybe not until her own first. No discussion this time. They call the peel right away and made just as quickly. These situations always seem just a little bit more tiring for the team that's trying to steal here, because you throw up that guard, you in some cases have to sweep it a fair bit of the way, and by the time you get back down to the other end, it's already gone and you got to throw again. This one's going to be a little bit tighter. Still looks like they're playing this as a straight peel. There is the chance you could make something else go away. It's close to the double. Got the double. Still looks like they're playing this as a straight peel. They were playing this. They didn't talk about it. Make something else go away. Might have just been a plan B call. They swept to hold it straight early. Close to the double. All the way down. Just got the double. Second stone. Clears everything. Kang now. She could throw another guard. I don't mind coming in and breaking up those yellows, though. You push one behind the T line. That might give you something else to work with. If you were going to do that, you pretty much had to do it with this shot, though. She's going to throw the center guard. It'll just be the straight peel now, and then Kang likely has to come around everything. I guess she could try one more time. She could try to come to the yellow, push the back one just behind the T line, and then maybe have it freeze to. Well, there's a miscue, right? Goes right by everything. Just maybe a little overexcited after the nice double on her first one. Definitely did not need that much weight just to make a single peel. The tough part's still not going to be the guard. It's going to be getting around the yellow at the top of the 8-foot. Yeah. Even if you had to come to just hang on to the back of the 4-foot here for shot rock, that's not a bad spot. I don't think you're getting buried at the top of the button. Both brushers down right away. Really curling now if they can drag it far enough. Room by the stones at the top of the 8. Just did not have the weight. It comes to rest corner of the button, but that's probably still half out in the open. There's a good look at it. Here's a case where for Schwaller, if you could hit and just roll to the edge of the 4-foot, that'd be the best spot for it, because then if she ever does make a good one when her last one, you could come off of it. Needed just a little bit more weight out of her hand so that they could have waited to sweep until after it started to curl. They're wondering if they can get close enough to the nose. That's scary. You try to get close to the nose and you roll 6 inches open, then she chisels in off of it. A little outward motion at the end, but this is quiet weight. Back and forth whether they need to curl or not. Makes the hit, does roll to the edge of the 8. Maybe a little too far to have to come off of it later, but it sits 3 for now. All Kang has is the same shot she tried on her first one. And I do think she needs just a couple more feet out of her hand. If the sweepers can wait until after it starts to curl, they might be able to get a little bit more finish. She's going to have to be back 4 to be buried. This is a tough shot. And if you don't make this one, the championship final is probably over. Bobae Kang without last rock here, facing 3, needs the come around. Has to try to steal this end. Again, both brushers down earlier. The line looks tighter. Curling now. Did they over curl it? They were sweeping for curl and maybe didn't need to be. It's going to end up on the yellow stones. Hard to say who's second shot. If Schwaller's second, she doesn't have to hit this. Mind you, it is wide open. It's wide open. It's the same shot you just threw. It's for 4. This would be her second 4-ender of the game and would likely put it to rest. Hard to see any way for this to go bad. Can't imagine how you could even hit this thin enough to jam it on anything. I mean, if you crash the guard, they might have to measure for 2, but she might already have it. This would be for 4, though, and quite likely the championship here in Swift Current. Xenia Schwaller with her final stone. Just made this hit on her first one. Looking to make it again. She could see all of the rock this time. Broom by the guard. Brushers have been on it just to clean. She will make the hit. Stays right there for the second time in the game. Schwaller puts 4 points on the board. And that's handshakes. Xenia Schwaller and her team out of Switzerland are the champions here in the S3 Group Curling Stadium Series. And that sets them up well going into the event next weekend here in Swift Current. That'll be the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. I want to thank you all for watching all weekend long here on the Curling Stadium Network. And we'll remind you that we will be back here in Swift Current next weekend for that event. Xenia Schwaller the event will be the champion going in on the women's side. Kelly Knapp won the men's side. Both of them will be back to try to duplicate that feat next weekend. We hope you're all with us as well, and we look forward to an outstanding event then. So on behalf of myself, Sean Joyce, Jim Nix, who had to leave a moment ago, thanks for joining us for this championship final, and we will see you again next week and all winter long here on the Curling Stadium Network.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sasktel.com/sponsorships.